Hi guys, Metal and Roxon here. It's Friday, there's new music, and today I want to talk about Judicator's sixth album. It's called The Majesty of Decay. It's something that I was very surprised about. It's music that doesn't really fit into any box, I think, and it's an album that has this. It also has this. So I found this band on Twitter actually through another band that I was following, and then I kind of saw them on the release schedule. I always kind of check what's coming out, and so on. And yeah, the name kind of just kept on popping up, and the category that it's kind of put in is power metal, and I'm not like on best terms with power metal in general, so I was a little bit skeptic, and I haven't, I did this review on Halloween this summer, which a lot of people hate me about from their concert, and it's not this type of music that I listen to a lot, and so yeah, I thought, okay, they're coming out with an album, I keep seeing them popping up, and let's give it a try. So I put together a playlist on Spotify with their older albums, and this is their sixth one, sorry, by the way, and I went running, and it was good. It was not just pure kind of power metal somehow. It's more kind of prog-ish. It reminded me sometimes of System of a Down. I got a little bit of Rush vibes in it, like I really liked their first album, and I could hear immediately, okay, these guys know what they're doing, this is not like some amateurs. And the band was formed in 2012 in the US, and they have done 5 albums before this. King of Rome, that was the first one. The second one, Sleepy, what's it called, Plesov, and At the Expense of Humanity was the third album. Then The Last Emperor was the fourth, and the latest one before this one was Let There Be Nothing. And they all have kind of themes, like, the Napoleon, Prussia, the Crusades, and except for At the Expense of Humanity, that's like about a family tragedy that the singer had, losing his brother to cancer when he was a teenager. So it's a very kind of themed around that. But the other 4 albums have been kind of themed around things that are, I think, very kind of spot on when it comes to power metal. It's a lot of, and it deals with a lot of history often, and even with Iron Maiden, I know they're not power metal, but like they take these kind of battles or whatever, Alexander the Great and all that stuff. So that's right up the alley. But music wise, as I said, I like their stuff more than I expected I would. So but also I felt that the previous albums were a little bit diverse, like they were not like all from the same mold somehow, that they were, is it called mold? No, I don't know. From the same cast, probably. And now for this album, they had a new guitarist. His name is Balmor Limus, and then I was reading up about them, and I realized that the previous guitar player, Alicia, she had been the main kind of songwriter with the singer, and so I thought, okay, maybe this will mean some big changes. So I wasn't really sure what to expect, because it was a guitar-heavy band. So when you change the guitarist in a guitar-heavy band, then you should kind of expect some difference. And then I saw the single High Priestess on YouTube, and I was like, what the fuck is this? There were horns in it and stuff like that, and I was like, I'm not sure, But anyway, I decided, okay, I wanna check this band out. I wanna listen to this new album. So I reached out to the band, and they actually were kind enough to send me all the music beforehand. So I've been listening to it for a few days, and it came out today on Prosthetic Records, and that used to be the home of Lamp of God for the first 2 albums. They have had Gojira for the US market, and Testament at some point as well. But that that label is kind of more like it seems to be giving kind of up and coming and a little bit more fringe bands the opportunity, at least from the list of names that I saw there. It's 10 songs, 61 minutes. The cover is, as you see here, it's like I don't know, it's like a wizard or something. It's probably a guy my age, gray beard, but his hair is gray. Mine is still standing, and I don't know, he's holding like if it's an oversized insect or if it's some sort of a bird or a prehistoric bird or something like that, and then some halo around his hand. Probably, I don't know if it's to control the bird or something. It's kind of cool, little bit of a magical in a way, like mysterious in that sense. And now I want to kind of take you through that album, song by song, and then I'll play bits and pieces from the album actually, and then I'll play my favorite song from this album at the end. So the first song is called Euphoric Parasite, and it's a very interesting song. It has these massive vocal harmonies, and that this band is very much about that. I mean, they probably record the singing like 5, 6, 7 times or something like that. They have synths and then like a kick-ass guitar solo. And after listening to this song, I was like, okay, this is not power metal. This is something else. You know, I'm not sure what it is, but it's definitely not straightforward power metal. On song number 2, don't remember the name of it now. I'll put it on the screen. Then I felt like, okay, am I listening to Joe Satriani? Because the guitar sound there was like, wow. And again, you know, like that took me somewhere else, you know, like I thought, okay, this is power metal, I'm going to listen to power metal, but so far, no power metal. And I thought about when I was listening to song number 2 with that kind of Joe Satriani vibe somehow. I don't know why I got that. I think it's from like Surfing with the Alien or something. It reminded me of that album. And then I realized the whole thing has a great sound. It's really, really clean, but yet edgy somehow. And song number 3 is called From the Belly of the Whale. That has kind of like a, I don't know, like a groove metal beginning or intro somehow, and a very kind of interesting choir. It makes it very gloomy, and a really cool outro from the 5th minute. And let's hear that actually. That's something that I really like on this album. From the belly of the whale, Father, please, I can't move, I can't save you. Song number 4, that's Daughter of Swords. That has kind of like, I don't know, like a thrash beat, even death metal elements in the start, and then changes into something different. And I think that song really kind of shows the diversity of this band, you know, like it's not one genre, but it's actually many, many genres. And there is a lot of examples of that on this album throughout, I think. And as if song number 4 wasn't a little bit surprise to me, then listen to this from song number 5. This song is called Ursa Minor, and this is black metal, like this is blast beat, and it seems like this band can kind of do whatever they like, you know, they kind of twist it to whatever genre and direction that they want to. And Song number 6 is called Ursa Major, so they have Ursa Minor as song number 5 and Ursa Major as song number 6. That's a very kind of a mixed bag. At some point, that song kind of gave me a musical vibe somehow, and then very kind of hard power metal or speed metal. And then, yeah, I think when I was listening to that song, I realized that these guys are very good musicians. You know, they play their instruments really, really well. And in the band, the singer is John Yelland, and he founded the band in 2012. And Jordan Elkes, he plays the drums from almost from the beginning, but he played the bass actually also at some point, I think, in the beginning. And then Balmor Limus on the guitar, as I said earlier, and then John Dolan, who is the bass player from 2020 until now. And apparently this album was kind of recorded remotely. You know, they were not in one studio doing this together, which actually I almost didn't believe that, because I would think that for this complicated music somehow you would have to be in the same room and you would have to kind of be able to make, I don't know, eye contact or get some sort of a feedback from the person you're kind of playing with, at least between the drums and the bass and stuff like that. But yeah, it just makes it even more interesting. The 7th song is High Priestess, and yeah, that when I heard that, I kind of had to go and see, is this the same Judicator? Because I didn't feel that that was like anything of the older stuff that I had heard, you know. So let's hear a little bit. There is a cool breakdown here after like 2 minutes 40 seconds. So let's check that out a little bit. Yeah, and I was like, okay, what the fuck? Did they just use horns here, you know? And then kick into a double drum. And then in this song, you know, kind of the vocal harmonies, they even remind me of Queen somehow. I mean, I guess Queen did this a lot, like to get the, at least on you know, Bohemian Rhapsody and some songs like that, where they really wanted that, yeah, those harmonies. Isn't it called that? Choir stylish harmonies. And this this song has it kind of, I think there where I felt that the lyrical theme, because the lyrical theme on this album is also about that family tragedy that the singer John Yelland had with losing his brother to cancer as a teenager. And they have this phrase in that song that is kind of like, when you live those moments you're living, you don't realize that you're actually creating the valuable moments. And it was a very strong message somehow about, you know, being aware of being in the present. And I think the lyrics overall on this album are great, and they are very kind of, yeah, they are very, I don't know if you can say audible or visible, you know, like they are very strong in this music somehow, and but dark at the same time. And often it kind of creates a little bit of a interesting contrast between the way that it's being sung and what's being sung about. It's just one more kind of dimension of this album. Song number 8 is called Black Elk. That also came out as a single along with High Priestess and Ursa Major. And that's kind of very kind of proggy. And when I was listening to that song, I felt like, okay, yeah, I like how they use the drums, because this band doesn't kind of use the drums just as a rhythm section. It's an instrument. I know drums are of course an instrument, but I don't know if you get what I mean. I feel that it adds more to the music than just kind of the bass layer. And then also in this song, I got the feeling like, okay, they're sometimes just about to lose me on the kind of the theatrical singing and the vocal harmonies, and then they come with some killer riff, you know, like super dark riff or something, and then they kind of just pull me back in, you know. And this song, Black Elk, is definitely an example of that. Yeah, song number 9 is called Judgment. That's kind of the song on the album that I felt that took me most back to the older stuff somehow. Has kind of gave me a little bit of a in the beginning, like a, I don't know, like a folk metal, Viking metal vibe somehow, and then breaks up into some sort of a power ballad or ballad style or something, but with a really, really cool guitar solo after like 5 minutes, and then takes a thrash metal feel, and then into an outro that has female vocals. I don't know actually who that is, but that's just one more layer. They have some guest singer on that song, and with a great voice. So it's kind of, yeah, just adds one more layer on this band. And yeah, I realized after listening to those first 9 songs that this is probably some of the freshest thing that I've heard in metal for a while. I mean, it kind of reminded me of bands that changed genres or created genres. I don't know. But it's not easy to listen to this, and it kind of required my full attention somehow. I felt, I don't know, I probably listened to this like 10 times or something, and I didn't feel that I could do anything else. I could run with it, and I could play it in the car, but I could not write an email and listen to this, because then I felt I lost the music, not the email. I don't give a shit about the email. I just didn't want to lose the music. So yeah, then song number 10 is Metamorphosis, and yeah, that kind of starts off with a power metal, but then comes in with the saxophone. Let's check how that works. Yeah, they get away with this, guys, you know, like, because, and it's silly because, well, it's not silly, it's actually cool, because often this stuff can get silly if you're trying to mix into something heavy, something, it often just gets funny, it doesn't get serious. But with these guys, it actually adds to the music, and it gives just more depth to it somehow. And yeah, I'm very impressed by how they managed to do that, because, as I said, I mean, often when you hear something that is, yeah, I don't know, metal band wants to bring in something, then it kind of loses somehow touch. I don't know. I'm gonna give this album 9 out of 10, and I will tell you after this. I'm just gonna take the pros and cons, but afterwards I'll tell you what I think could work a little bit against this album and this band in this sense. The pros of this album is amazing musicians, great songwriting, and really cool arrangements. There is never a dull moment, but also that means you need to listen to it really concentrated. It's unique. I haven't heard anyone do anything similar to this. If you have, then let me know, because I would like to hear that band as well. It's very diverse, as I said, and a great sound, really, really great sound, really, yeah, very, very professional. The negatives, it needs full focus. And I don't think that this is necessarily a party music or something like that. And I think also, if I compare it to their older stuff, this needs more listening. The older stuff kind of got me right away. This one, I was like, I had to digest it a little bit. But right now, it's actually some of the melodies are singing in my head. I, caught myself this morning singing back to my head some of the stuff that I've been listening to. And of course, as I said, I mean, like, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff with the vocal harmonies and all that stuff. can't get too much sometimes. But yeah, but I'll give it 9 out of 10 anyway. I think this is one of the most innovative and brave albums that I've heard for a really long time. And as I said earlier, it reminds me of kind of game-changing albums in some way. I know it's not the same, but I'm thinking Slipknot here. I'm thinking System of a Down. Some new direction. I mean, as I said, I haven't heard anyone do anything similar that these guys are doing on this album. So if you're interested in hearing something different, if you're interested in hearing music that is not the same like everything else, then and you want, you know, meaningful lyrics and something a little bit more diverse from what we're usually getting when it comes to heavy metal, then this is your album. You know, you should definitely check that out. What I think can work against this band though is that people like me, I'm an old metal guy. I have a hard time just accepting that my old favorite bands come with a new album, let alone getting into a new band that is doing something that doesn't fit somehow into a box. And I think it can be tricky, both for the label, for touring, for everyone. Where should you put those guys, you know? Because with some of their stuff, you could even put them on kind of more of a popish thingy. You have the prog-ish thingy, you have the power metal thingy, the speed metal, the death metal. So it's hard to kind of put them in one box. And I think sometimes that means that it's actually hard to brand the music or brand the band and put them out that way. And these guys are, for sure, they're kind of unpredictable, and I'm, you know, they jump between a lot of different things, but we, as consumers or listeners, we often want that familiarity, and then when we get it, we're disappointed. Like, you know, take Metallica, Death Magnetic album, you know. I'm sure if that album would have come out 30 years ago, we would have loved it, but we don't love it because it's not as good as Master of Puppets or something like that. So, yeah, I don't know. It's brave. It's very brave what these guys are doing. I was very positively surprised. I encourage you to check out some of their older stuff, and yeah, you will be happy about that. Album is coming out today and available on all platforms and all that stuff. I am looking, actually, if you're still here, I'm looking for a name for the studio that I'm in. I don't know what to call it, so I'll be open for any suggestions. And then, yeah, like the channel, subscribe, share this, tell everyone you know about this. And now I'm gonna play my favorite song from the album. That's I think song number 5, Ursa Minor. And my other favorite is From the Belly of the Whale, but I'm gonna play Ursa Minor here. So guys, have a great day. Thank you for watching. Enjoy this music. Bye.
here and now.